So you have the East Coast or the South that may experience hurricanes pretty often. Midwest, you get tornadoes. West Coast, you might have to deal with, earthquakes and wildfires. And so these natural disasters, one huge risk of a more centralized strategy is if something were to happen, you don't have the ability to service your customers and you can wipe out your stock pretty quickly. Another aspect is shipping costs. It really depends on the type of goods you have. Lighter goods, yeah, you can maybe ship cost effectively from across the US, but once you start getting to maybe some more bulky or heavier items, those shipping costs can jump up pretty significantly. And then, of course, the delivery times. It really depends on how quickly you're able to process goods. What are your customers expecting? How quickly do your stores need to be replenished? You might have to take 1 or 2 more days to get the product to where it needs to go. And is that right for your consumer? And for your store replenishment, what does that mean for your store, replenishment and inventory levels? So if you run out of an item, it takes 3 days to get in there. How does that impact your sales? And what does that mean for your fulfillment? And then back to the whole labor topic and skill shortages. Sometimes you look at these like major distribution hubs where it's a sea of fulfillment centers. And when you're operating in those big distribution hubs, retaining and keeping labor can be a little bit more challenging. So if you only have a few distribution centers and they're all in areas where it's maybe hard to recruit and retain people, it could increase your costs with the wages pretty quickly. So those would be some of the bigger drawbacks that people would see when they're considering a centralized approach or even some of the regional centralization.